March 17th, St. Patty's Day, is the US premiere of Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Is it worth the watch? Or can you just stay home?
We didn't.
Welcome back to Tales of Two Bros. I am Angel, and we have our special guest today, filling in for Adan, Kimberly.
Huh?
Spoilers. All right, so we just came back, I guess, the day before March 17th, by the time of this recording. Initial thoughts?
I was entertained. There were some moments that, kind of felt a little off, but overall, I was entertained.
Do you remember the first film?
Vaguely, yeah, but I didn't rewatch it before.
Right. Adan and I did. We just reviewed the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it had some flaws and some things of that nature, we really liked the first one. I still like the first one in comparison to this one. This one, still good, still entertaining, like you said, but it felt dragged out on certain things. A lot of talking. I missed the action.
Yeah.
I was right next to you, and I know you heard me say, like, let's get on with it. Let's keep going. Like, why we're having this talk while the world around you is crumbling.
And monsters are attacking our people.
Correct.
People are dying.
Yeah.
Mayhem is occurring.
Exactly. There are some great surprises. We did see some stuff at the end. And unfortunately, like today, going through Instagram, scrolling up, and then I saw a spoiler, and I was like, what the like, especially like the day before, US premiere of Shazam, Fear of the Gods, they show this one scene. I was like, why would you show that before like anyone can see it? Like, you just gave a major spoiler. We'll talk about that later. But I was freaking flustered, and I texted you about it. I didn't tell you what it was about because I want you to be surprised.
Which I was. I think I was the only one that was clapping and cheering.
Yeah, I would have clapped with you.
You knew it was coming.
You're right. Granted, now, I was surprised to see, going through the times of the show times, that it was like no one wanted to see this.
Yeah, the theater was pretty dead.
Pretty empty. The audience, well, I guess it was like 10 of us in there.
Yeah, very quiet.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because it's St. Patty's Day, it is spring break.
But even with all of that, you would think that there would be more of a presence or more interest in it.
Maybe. I don't know. Spring break, people partying, people are traveling, parents, families are traveling. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, kids being out of school and
but
at the mall.
Right, but I don't know. They want to be in the theater or what have you. I mean, I don't know. But I mean, I would have. But
on a weekday.
Yeah, but on spring break, it's not a weekday. It's a weekend. You're off. So it doesn't matter. I was hoping, like I spoke with Adan or what we shared in Adan, like that even though I have Fear of the Gods, I was hoping that it would give some connection to the original or to address Black Adam, because that is supposedly in the same universe. This Black Adam is supposedly in same universe as Shazam, right? And stuff like that. And they do tie it in at the end a little bit here and there, in the extra credit, the end credit scenes. I was hoping a little bit more.
Yeah.
They did answer in this one where they didn't answer
in the first one.
Yeah, in the sense of wisdom of Solomon, or Saruman, as he kind of said at this.
Or Salaman.
Or Salaman, right.
Isn't that what your brother says? And says salmon, he says
salmon. Yeah, that's it.
You have to correct him. It's not salmon, it's salmon.
Right. Anyway, they did answer that because in Black Adam, he had the wisdom of Solomon, where he knew how to speak the language and stuff like that, just from being woken up. You know how to speak English and what have you, which I thought was silly and stupid. But in our review of Black Adam, Adan brought that up. Even though it was a weak argument, in Shazam, he didn't have that wisdom. He didn't I don't know what to do. What's going on? Even though when he turned his brother and sisters into avatars of Shazam, they knew what to do. They knew how to fly. They knew how to, well, they learned how to run real quick. They learned faster than he did.
Mhm.
In this one, he still had trouble. He didn't have the wisdom. He still didn't know what to do. He had to go to Ms. Marvel, his sister. Like, she was the older one, I guess, as an adult, but as the avatar of Shazam, he still went to her
Yeah,
for answers.
yeah.
And so,
She acted more as the wisdom part of it.
well, because she was older, so if you're older, you know more. They did address it here. They did fix it in a way, but they supplemented it with, instead of wisdom, it was like his heart, his
Yes.
desire, his, I guess, willing to learn or
Mhm.
willing to be open minded. I did like in the fact where in the first one, Billy, he didn't want to be with a family because he was looking for his family, and his mother represented that family. Well, at the end of that film, he finds out that what his family in his mind
Mhm.
wasn't in reality,
Mhm.
and what was presented to him, the foster family, the
Mhm.
foster parents and his foster brothers and sisters, they became his family.
Yeah.
And
Family can take many forms.
right, but in this film, since he finally found that family, he didn't want to let it go.
Yeah.
He brought it up in a sense of, I forgot. Even though I just saw it, I forgot the saying. Like,
Family first
no,
or
not family
no.
first, but it was like, it
All
was
or nothing.
all or nothing. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what it was, right? All
Mhm.
or nothing. And that he was becoming 18, so he was becoming of the age that they didn't have to look over him anymore.
Yeah. He was gonna be aged out of the
Yeah,
system.
that's what he said, right? So he didn't have to, like, he feared that he will be kicked out,
Mhm.
but that wasn't the case, and also that he was still holding on, even though he had that family. In the beginning, we saw that he still was holding back.
Mhm.
I guess in a way because he was fearful that he didn't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
But at the end, he called his foster mom.
Mhm.
So let go of his he further let go of his guard, or his
His fear.
well, not his fear, but his barrier that he was having earlier. What we and Adan talked about before, like the presentation of or representation of Billy in the first one didn't match how Zachary Levi did Shazam. And it says the kid in a adult body, like big and Tom Hanks. Here was a little better.
Mhm.
Billy was more of that kid coming out, being a kid, not to be so snarky and or arrogant. But Zachary was still being that kid of having the powers of the first time,
Mhm.
which was kind of like, I guess, tiresome
Yeah.
or I guess or outplayed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was hoping that maybe, even though Archer Angel, who played Billy, he did a better job this time. Zachary still played it too young. I still loved how the foster kids and the counterparts were. They still related. Megan Good, who played
The younger sister?
Megan Good, she played it like she was awesome in the first one. She was as awesome here. She
She still had that mm, that little girl. It got me some popcorn in my throat.
You didn't have popcorn.
Well, something.
You're gonna cry because you're so good. But no, like her representation of her and the counterpart like was matched,
Mhm.
which was awesome. Was it
Mhm.
Adam Brody?
Yeah, Adam Brody.
Right, he was awesome as well. Even though his part was still small, he was good.
Yeah,
And you okay still? You
I
still
think
go?
so. Yeah, just trying to.
But and then you have the three sisters of what they call the three sisters of what? Of Zeus? No,
Yeah,
they're called
this
something else. There's
of no of Atlas, not Atlas. Was it
Yeah,
Atlas?
Three Sisters of
Yeah,
Atlas.
Atlas. Yeah.
Right, because at the end they show a poster as if they were a rock band. So the Three
Mhm.
Sisters of Atlas, which was which is a really cool name for a rock band.
Yeah.
This movie is entertaining, but again, it was just like when their heroes are at peril, where things are dire, they want to have a long monologue, and to me, they just like put the brakes on,
Yeah. It felt
skipped.
forced.
Yes, action was a lot better. There's more action here than the first one.
Yes.
But here's what kills me on that stuff too. When people, I know they do it for for the drama of it all, in a sense of people. When that bridge is about to collapse and people just stand there
And watch.
They're on the bridge. They're like, oh, look. I was like, dude, get out, move, run, something. I mean, I
But
know
the thing
people.
about it is that you know what you would do in that situation. You would react, but not everybody is like that. Not everybody is reactionary. Some people basically sort of pause or freeze if something
Mhm.
they see is going to happen that they can't that catches them in a certain way that they just can't react to it quickly. So all they do is they just freeze and they watch
I know, but
instead.
every time, I
Every
mean, almost
catastrophe.
every catastrophe or drastic situation
Mm-hmm.
where violence is going to ensue in a sense of like buildings collapse or
Or their
a bridge is going to fall or monster
monsters
shows up
are
or a bridge falls. I mean, it becomes cliche. I mean, in Superman 2 with
mm-hmm,
Christopher Reeves,
mm-hmm.
there's always going to thing where this lady, like all this thing is going on. Zod is fighting Superman and Superman's fighting Zod and the two others. People are like running around amok and stuff like that. And then there's one lady like oblivious to everything. And she's just walking with her baby in a cart. And there's like a part of a scaffolding about to fall on her. And she's like walking and then she looks up. She's like, instead of moving faster out of the way, she's like, oh, my baby. She just covers the things, just stays still. I mean, yes, I understand some people have that fight or flight
Mm-hmm.
or freeze. If there's another F there, the three Fs: fight, flight, freeze. You don't do jack shit. It's like that. And then the thing with the monsters, instead of running, people are like jogging away, like, oh no, or staying to take photos,
Mm-hmm. Or just
or
standing there watching.
sitting there watching the thing, this egg hatch, if you will, and they're like,
Yeah, and you heard me saying, "Why are you standing there watching? Run!"
I'm saying the same too. It's like, but again, it's for our benefit to watch through the eyes of the character or whatever. But still, it's like we can still see the egg hatch while people are running. But if you notice, I don't want to sound well. Yeah, screw it. It's always white people.
Okay.
There's always white people that's watching to stand here. You don't see black people or brown people or Asian people just standing there. It's like, oh, let me know what this is.
Well, I would beg to differ because there was the one scene with the mother and the daughter
Oh, well, no, no.
against the car, watching as the
Well, no, that one.
monster was coming at them,
Well,
just
that one.
standing there, just
No,
watching.
I understand that. I understand because the creature is moving forward and they're kind of
Pin.
stuck, pinned. Where that one white girl who almost got speared by the tree branches,
Yeah.
and she just stays there and watches the egg hatch and like, bitch, move, run,
Well,
just
she
get out.
finally snapped out of it when she was like, "Oh, like
But
okay,
yeah,
I'm
but
gonna
we
run
can.
now."
I'm sorry, I'm not gonna stay there if I can see something that's coming out of the ground or a tree and ripping.
So we have the scene in Body Snatcher
Yes,
where you see the thing or the
right, right.
metamorphosis.
But who's there watching in Body Snatcher? Who's there watching? White people watching it, just watching the hatch. They can't. Now they're gonna run, but they're gonna watch it. Like it's like everything. Like this, it goes back to the Eddie Murphy joke, in the sense like people in Amityville horror, they'll stay in there. But if a black family moves into that, it's like, bye, baby. Sorry, we can't stay, and we're out. So it's like the same. It's just to me, it's just
The one scene that supports your theory is the fact of the woman in the car.
yes, in the bridge, right?
Yeah.
She's totally oblivious. She's singing "I Need a Hero,"
Hmm.
and like doesn't feel the ground shake where the cables are breaking,
Hmm.
and she's like, and then she
She's
looks.
just sitting in the car.
Sitting,
She's sitting in the car this whole time, not even contemplating on opening the door, opening the window, or something. She's just holding on to the steering wheel as if miraculously she's going to be saved,
she does.
which she does. But that whole scene was very cliche and it was very predictable.
That's what cliche means.
Well, yeah, that too. But the thing about it is that was it really a scene that was necessary,
No,
or because
no, it wasn't. I mean, that's why I feel the original was a lot better
Yeah.
than this one. It wasn't more
It
of
was a weak
jokes,
it was a weak moment,
right? And there was
and the movie had a lot of weak
the
moments.
movie had a lot of weak moments. Yes. Now you do have Freddie having a more of a bigger role.
He
Finds a love interest.
yeah,
He's still funny. He's still hilarious.
his brother or they have more of a
Fre-
relationship exchange,
Which brother?
Billy
Freddie.
and Freddie.
Well, yeah, because they were the first in the first one. They became friends right away,
Mhm,
or that Freddie befriended Billy, right away, and
mhm,
then Freddie helped him understand the powers when he was trying to learn it, and stuff like that.
mhm,
Now you have the Sisters of Atlas. You have that one. Granted, that one looked like the girl from Wednesday,
mhm.
the youngest one. Then you have Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren.
Now, let me
Helen
ask
Mirren.
you a question. Did you figure her out?
Well, I knew there's three sisters.
Okay, so you already knew that. You
Yeah, I
already
knew that
knew.
from the original previews and like that. I was just wondering when. I mean, I
When did
didn't
you figure that out?
when she was asking all these questions about.
On the rooftop?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like still before that, at the kitchen table, the cafeteria table,
Mhm,
where like he met Soups and Shazam showed up there. So it was like again, if you saw the preview or a trailer, you
mhm,
saw there's three sisters.
mhm.
Now, granted, Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu, they were the main, I guess, stars or faces of that. She was in and out. It was like the colors of Paddington. There was an Asian, there was a white, and there was like a brown girl.
Okay,
And
okay.
her, she could be,
Yeah,
Indian or
yeah.
Latina, and so I guess so. I didn't know the betrayal was going to happen though.
Oh, with Lucy Liu.
And Helen Mirren, right?
One thing that I have to mention is one thing that really bothered me was the fact of the overuse of the makeup, especially for Helen Mirren.
She had overuse of makeup.
You didn't think that the makeup on her was horrendous? Was too
No,
much?
no, she just looked aged.
Well, yeah.
I would think that you would, for a god or the daughters of a god, that they will be almost ageless. And you will think that her wrinkles would not be as much. She
Yeah.
had a lot more, maybe to show that she is the oldest, maybe to show something there. And the thing is, when I see her or when we see her like in those award shows, whatever, her skin is like smooth, what have
Mhm.
you. But
Well, yeah, and when you wear too much makeup, the more makeup makes the wrinkles and the age and the age features more prominent.
I guess, what depends on the makeup, right, and the lighting, what have you.
Yeah,
And
I
I
just
mean,
thought
and
it
plus
just
they
made
could
her
have.
look older and her just
No, you're right. I mean, I guess I could have done with the post, like
yeah.
take some away, but
Well, even like her eyelashes. Like, why couldn't they put like black eyelashes? It made it sound like, oh, they forgot to put mascara on her eyelashes.
okay, that's a little nitpicking right there.
So,
That's a little nitpicking. For me, I saw I was looking when she was having that conversation with him at the food truck thing.
mhm.
Her eyes were like going down, like
Yeah.
they were saggy,
Yeah,
and I was like,
but the eyelashes didn't help because it looked like they forgot
yeah, that's a
they
total
put
girl thing right there.
makeup on
That's
and
a
forgot to put the
that's a girl thing right
well, yeah, of course.
there. That's
So, that's why I'm pointing it out. And then when they're fighting in the building, in the warehouse,
hmm
and and
that I was
her crown gets messed up and she's, like, fixing it.
no, but that was cool.
That was
See,
funny.
that
That
was
was like
that I liked when she's because the thing is, of
I don't
course,
know if it was on purpose or if it was, like, one of those, like, "Mm, fix my crown,"
maybe I
and
don't
they
know.
decided not to cut it out.
It was probably like a improv movement,
Yeah.
but she slams him, and it made total sense that would happen because probably his cape caught in it and it put it down,
Mhm.
or misshifted the crown, and she just
Yeah,
reset it. And I like that little touch. But for me, I
yeah.
was like, okay, that makes sense because I've seen animation or even live action where there's fights going on or what
Mhm.
have you is going on, and everything is just
Yeah, nothing moves.
nothing moves. Right? Adan calls it a James Bond dilemma, where James Bond is like goes through all this, gunfight, jumps and what have you, and he comes
Mhm.
out of it. His suit is like all pressed and clean and
Yeah.
not even dirty. So it's kind of like that, where
Mhm.
that was good. I mean, that was a good fight scene where they are testing each other's, I guess, powers against each other, and how
Strength.
right, and how she's taken down, and how Calypso, which is played by Lucy Liu, and she's Aspera, and Anthena was the other girl, the younger one.
Well, and you even made a comment about Lucy Liu's makeup, because you said that she must be wearing a lot of makeup because she's got a lot more freckles.
Well, yeah, but that's with her. I think that's always been with her, and multiple productions where you're smooth, you don't see the freckles. There's some shows like I think the one where her and the CBS show with her and Sherlock Holmes, and she was Watson. I think they put less makeup on to show her natural skin. I mean, she's a beautiful woman. It didn't need to, but I noticed the lashes.
Oh, you did?
Oh yeah, they're like this long. They're like super long on her. So I noticed that. But again, that's like minor stuff. Was there a moment that you liked or didn't like?
Well, you know the moment that I like.
Yes. So one of the I want to say end credit, but towards the end, James Gunn, the guy who brought us Guardians of the Galaxy, and I'm not sure if you know or aware of this though, but he also did the Suicide Squad that we saw, and Peacemaker, the show that we saw and love. But he's also now part of the new DC universe. He's part of he's one of the heads. There's like two guys, and when he got on board, a lot of projects got cut and like put to the side or put to the shelf, like never to be seen. They're revamping the DCU. They're making a new DCU in the sense of, with Zack Snyder's verse, it was called the DCEU, DC Entertainment Universe.
Oh, okay.
So now this is called the DC Universe, just kind of like how Marvel.
So they dropped the entertainment out,
right? Because for one, it was silly.
Yeah, it wasn't neat
and not needed. But I guess they did that to break away or be similar to Marvel's MCU.
Oh,
so
okay.
they did that.
Interesting.
Out of that one, and I think it was also like fan made, because Warner Brothers, the owner of DC, they didn't have anything with it. They're like, this is what's coming. And to my knowledge, if I'm wrong, please let us know for those who are listening and watching. But James Gunn and his partner, I can't remember his name right now, but they are using now DCU as the official universe that's coming.
So with that,
but with that, like people were thinking that, okay, he's scraping everything, and yes, Henry Cavill, who played Superman, he's now no longer being Superman in the future. On Ben Affleck, got it out. He is in the upcoming Flash movie that we saw the trailer for.
And did they can Wonder Woman 3?
They canned Wonder Woman 3, but only being is because the script.
Or I thought it was because 2 didn't do so well.
Well, 2 didn't do so well, but also the script that Patty Jenkins brought, they're like, no, you got to rewrite it. And she's like, no, I'm not. So she was being stubborn. And so they're okay, well, if you're not going to rewrite it or change or revise it, then it's scrapped. And so she's like, all right, fine. Again, if I'm misquoted, please comment below. So with the James Gunn revised DCU, you have Ezra Miller being the Flash. You have...
Which the new Flash, that's the trailer for it looks pretty good.
Well, yeah, because of Michael Keaton. That's for me. That's the only reason why I want to see it, is because of Michael Keaton.
Okay.
He's my Batman forever. Bale, close second. Jason Momoa, supposedly so far, it's going to be the same. Well, Aquaman. Granted, Aquaman 2 is coming out still. So every movie that's still coming out after that, because they could have scratched this, but they kept it in, is going to be part of the DCU, except for Black Adam. But it's also still with the DCU, because at the end credit, we have 2 players from Peacemaker, from Amanda Waller's team of Justice Society, and Justice Society was in Black Adam. So you have that connection in that world. But we also have at the end, the iconic, your favorite, me likey, Gal Gadot, reprising her role as Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Right. that was what I saw on my Instagram feed that pissed me off because I did not want to see that. I wanted to be surprised. And thank you, Instagram, for screwing that up for me.
Which, okay, so to let the viewers know that this is one of the things that Angel tries to do before he sees a movie is not go on any social media to see any spoilers, to see anything before he sees the actual movie.
Well, I mean, you would not think the day before the national premiere or the US premiere of Shazam, The Fear of the Gods, that you think they will not show anything else. But I think they did that in fear of ticket sales.
That's why you make it a point not to go on
Right, but I
social
didn't know.
media.
I mean, I was just scrolling up. I didn't think that they would show it right there. And I'm like, looking, I said, what? And I was like, oh my God.
But in actuality, she made sort of 2
Well,
appearances
no. Well,
Wait.
okay.
because now we know it was a dream,
Right, but no. Well,
but you don't really actually see
can I
her.
speak? So,
Excuse
but you're going to drag on.
no,
So,
I'm not.
yes, you are.
I just said that because they didn't
Right,
make
but let me say that in a sense because what they did there in that scene was actually in a callback to the first film.
Mhm.
Because in the first film, we see Soups at the end of the movie pop out, but it's not really Henry Cavill. It's actually his like stunt double or his body double that came out that wore the suit. But in our heads, we're thinking of Henry Cavill, but it's just a guy wearing the same iconic suit. So they put that in there
Yeah.
in the sense of honoring what they did in the previous film. So and they played it smart when they showed the face. It wasn't his face, her face, excuse me. It was the wizard's face.
Yeah.
And they did all that. So that's what I'm trying to say. But you were going too long about that. Anyway, it was smart. I did it like that. I was like, okay, I saw that Easter egg. But also on the final end credit, because there's multiple ones. I think there was like 2 or 3, 2 end
Mhm.
credits. All right. In our review of Shazam, me and Adan, I was wondering since we had the Fury of the Gods come out and all that stuff, and it was like a big departure from the first film of with the villain and stuff like that. I was like, how are they gonna bring this back? Are they just ignoring Dr. Savannah
Mhm.
and that worm character? That was a big cliffhanger, if you will, in the first film.
Mhm.
And I thought, well, okay, if not that, then they'll probably either bring in the Black Adam and have that connection there officially. No. But at the last end credit, what we see Dr. Savannah and the worm communicating again.
You were happy about it.
I was happy about it because I did like Dr. Savannah. I love Mark Strong. And to see him again with almost the official look of Dr. Savannah, I was even more happy with that, or happier, excuse me, with that. And but again, the worm being a tease, not just to him, but to us,
Mhm.
the audience. He's like, but first I gotta do something. I was like, where are you gonna? It's like the same thing with him. He was like,
Goes
he
through the
just
hole.
disappears again. I was like, what the hell? It was a good nod in the sense of like, there's gonna be another Shazam film. And they should, from what they're doing and how they're setting it up. It wasn't not like only a 2 movie. Again, all these comic book movies, they do have Easter eggs.
Mhm.
And did you ever watch when you were younger, like the Shazam show or Shazam and Isis, the
I
live action things?
I might have. I don't really remember, like, specifically.
Okay, because I caught it, and I was a big fan of the Shazam live action show.
Mhm.
They had 2 Shazams play the part, or Captain Marvel play the part, but they had the same actor playing Billy. But they did have the original actor of Billy from the live action show from this 1970.
Yeah, I think you even pointed it out.
Oh, I pointed out because I was like, yes, because I was hoping to see that in the first film.
And then he was wearing
He was wearing the colors.
the
He was
red
wearing
and yellow.
the red and yellow, and actually, he was wearing the exact top
Mhm.
that he wore in the show.
Oh, okay.
So it was like, yes, a show that lasted for 2 years, and I gotta give him his props. Michael Gray.
I mean, kinda older.
Well,
Older
now he's
gray,
old, but
like you.
I mean, that was one of the highlights of the whole show, of the
So
whole
what
movie.
was your favorite moment?
My favorite one was seeing Michael Gray
Mm.
pop up. Okay, that thing. But I liked the end scene where he takes down Calypso, and you
Mhm.
called it because
Oh, yeah.
it was foreshadowed earlier.
Mhm.
And That's what led to her demise or him saving the day. And it also did a callback to Superman in Batman versus Superman. Almost exactly the same, meaning in Batman versus Superman, Superman had to save the day by having a spear or staff to penetrate Doomsday. And it was almost the same thing, almost in the sense it was paying homage to that movie and Man of Steel, where in Man of Steel, he had to take down these powerful ships, which was shooting a beam down, and he will fly through that beam and to fly through that ship to destroy it. I'm calling it ship. I know it's not that. It's called something else, and I can't remember right now. Shazam was doing the same thing, but because she was shooting that beam with the dragon, right? The dragon flame, right?
Yeah.
But you also had that spear with the charged crystal. And again, Superman did that same thing where he had the spear with the kryptonite at the tip, at the blade, and he goes through Doomsday to save the day. And the whole big explosion, Doomsday releases some electric currents all over the place.
And that's what killed Superman.
That's what killed Superman.
And that's what killed Billy.
Well, there, yes. But, of course he doesn't die due to due to Wonder Woman.
Yeah, she brings him back to life.
So you can see that, again, that callback or Easter egg to the original.
Well, okay, so Billy said that the dragon was made of wood.
Correct.
So if it's made of
weird.
Yeah.
Which he acknowledges, makes no sense,
but the dragon he said the dragon eliminated fire, or it
wasn't really fire.
It wasn't,
because it was blue.
Yeah.
And it was something else. It was more like a magic.
Yeah. But the thing about it is that if the dragon was made of wood, wouldn't fire?
No, but it's magic.
Okay.
So it's different. It's not in the sense of reality.
Okay.
Remember, like his suit got burnt, right? Billy's suit got burnt. And so magic or powers can damage a magic. Okay. So that's why he got burnt. And also what I liked about that, they played homage to Black Adam. Because his red suit became black because of the flames. Because the suit was burning, right?
Yeah.
So granted, he has some leggings were still red, but when he was fighting the dragon and getting hit with the flames,
it became all black.
It became black where all that area, and then you had the gold lightning bolt shining through. And I was like, I see what they're doing here, and they're again honoring of what happened prior from other sources. And that's what's good. Like a true fan will see that. I mean, yes, Black Adam, not that good of a movie. I wear the hoodie because the hoodie is so much better than the movie. And it feels good too. And I liked the ending, the final end credit with Dr. Savannah. So those three things: the Dome, Wonder Woman, and Dr. Savannah. And I liked that when he came out, they're like, okay, yeah. We knew.
Yeah, we knew.
Right. In a sense, like
it wasn't such a big thing that.
Well, yeah, I've seen other shows. We've seen shows like the Umbrella Academy. Elliot Page, his character, transitioned, and they almost spent like 2 episodes explaining. And I said it to you when we watched that. I was like, he's family. So, in a boom, that's it. Pedro's family. They're like, cool.
Yeah, they accepted him no matter what.
Right. And then I liked it. They acknowledged it. They moved on. They didn't dwell on it like,
how's this going to affect me? Right. How's this going to affect everyone else?
I mean, that's how it should be. If a person, they had the courage to come out, you should welcome that with love and respect,
Yeah.
So I did appreciate that. They didn't pound on it. They didn't spend like 20 minutes, and it didn't. So kudos. Now, for Shazam, the reviews.
Oh, I was going to mention another scene that was pretty, I kind of liked it. It ended up being a little corny in some ways, but the Skittles.
Taste the ring.
With the unicorn.
Yes. I even said it before she said it.
Laughed.
I laughed because it was stupid. I laughed because it was silly. And it's like, how can you not say it? And it was total product placement.
Of course.
And then she used it as a battle cry when she was guiding the unicorns to the fight the goblins, whatever those beings were,
Mhm.
and they look cool. Those creatures that came out of the tree, they look cool. I mean, the special effects was done very well. You had a griffin there. You had those they look familiar from another movie or show. I just can't remember from what the flying ones. And then you had the orgs or the cyclops.
Mm-hmm.
They were done very well. Okay, I do have a problem with that one because the flying rodents, whatever they were,
Mm-hmm.
when they're saying that unicorns are the only thing that can defeat them, how come they didn't fly away? They just ran. They have wings. You can fly away.
Well, that whole storyline kind of I didn't quite get, in the sense of, like, if these monsters came from
Tree.
the tree, but the unicorns were used against the monsters, I didn't quite understand that whole theory.
I think it's
Because wouldn't the unicorns be bad, but because she fed them Skittles, which is
right,
something, she won their trust or love,
right, because
or
the
I don't know.
Skittles was supposed to replace
It's supposed to be
ambrosia,
ambrosia, yeah,
right? Because they didn't
which
have
is
it there,
something that they love.
right? And I guess that, right. But I think in the sense of like,
But I thought that was kind of far-reaching
oh, it is,
to make that
it is.
connection.
But the thing is, so out of one source, you have the good and the bad.
Okay.
So I guess to nullify or equal out the bad, those unicorns were there for that.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess it goes back to the theory where Lucy Liu, her thing was the fact that if she planted the seed at Earth, which she did, because that was one of the things that the one sister, the younger sister,
And
said, that
and Athena.
the seed in our plant on our place was beautiful. The tree was beautiful.
Well,
Here,
yeah, Earth wasn't ready for it, or yes, Earth wasn't ready for it. And since Calypso, Lucy Liu's
mhm,
character, was
using it to destroy
well, no, but her like
Earth.
her soul, right? She wanted to be she wanted to destroy. She was the destroyer,
She wanted vengeance, or she wanted
right? But in Hespera, who was like she wanted revenge, or she didn't really want revenge. She wanted to
right
bring
what was wrong.
right what was wrong and bring back the world that was destroyed.
Mhm.
Where Calypso wanted revenge,
Mhm.
and her heart was tainted. So when she put it in, that like fed in like the energy that she put in. So that's what we got. So it was like a double whammy, if you
Mhm.
will. To go back to the reviews, Shazam had a high, by the critics, had a high rating, almost like in the 90s,
Oh, wow.
where the audience was a lot lower. Yeah, it was 90% with the critics, and it was like 82 with the audience, which is still good, right?
Yeah,
That's like a C plus to a B,
yeah.
B plus, right? But for the gods, the critics hated it in the sense of 55%. But
Oh.
you have right now, as the time of this recording, you have 108 critics giving their review. And with the audience, you have 81%, which is over 100.
So actually it stayed the same with the
Oh, yes,
audience.
relatively, yes. For the regular Shazam, original Shazam, excuse me, I was more with the critics.
Mhm. Yeah.
Here, I'm more with the audience.
Mhm.
It's not bad. It's not a splat. It's nowhere near 55%. But I can see why. If you're doing a direct comparison of the two, I can
Mhm.
see what they're saying. But it's still entertaining. It still has a good story behind it. It still grows for the character of Billy
Yeah.
and also Shazam, because he starts to get his wisdom
Mhm.
or open up more,
Mhm.
because there was a barrier there. He's still not wise, not there yet, but he's getting there.
I mean,
The
he's still
cap
a kid.
Right, but again, like if he had the speed of Mercury, he had the strength of Atlas and all that stuff, or Zeus, you would think that would come in too. But it takes a little. I guess it takes a little longer like, to fully embody
All of
all
the
of them. What about you? Like, do you feel that the critics are being too harsh?
I mean, I probably feel the same. I think that, yeah, I think the critics could be a little bit too harsh on this one. I mean, overall, it, like I said before, it's entertaining. It wasn't a total letdown.
Hmm.
I think that the whole Wonder Woman part was very smart.
Well, I mean, again, is staying in character of the original one, where they again
Mhm.
they had soups, but they didn't have they didn't have the permission to show his
Mhm.
face, but they could show the costume or
Mhm.
the costume or the outfit. And then now they had a little more leeway here. And I did like on the credits in keeping up with the original where they had the drawings and stuff like that. Like we saw like the rock band of the Sisters of Atlas, which was very smart. And I was like, I was digging it. I was like, if a band came out with that, I would totally dig that name. Is it worth the watch? Could you have not seen it?
Well, that's the hard part because coming into it, I really didn't have very much high hopes. And I even said it to you that if we didn't see it in the movie theaters, I would be fine with it. But after seeing it, I was kind of like, okay, all right.
Yeah, you stayed awake.
Yeah, I did.
You stayed awake. I was surprised.
I mean, and I'll definitely want to watch it again, but
Okay.
but home.
At home, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel you. I will watch it again because sometimes I'm a little too harsh. I'm looking at two things, mainly because of the reviews that we do and stuff like that. So I'm looking at certain things before we go. In a sense, like the one who played the wizard, when he gets out, in the sense of not when he gets out, but when he
Reappears.
when he becomes like part of the common folk.
Yes.
It's like
Mr. Suave.
yeah, Dimon Hansu, he's himself. That's how he dresses.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's a dapper dude.
Yeah.
He dresses sharp, and so when he comes out, I was like, that's his own wardrobe.
Oh.
So he's being paid extra for wearing his own wardrobe at the end. I was like, all right, smart.
Yeah.
He looked great. I was like, because that beard had to go.
And the dreads.
And the dreads. But no,
He was styling.
he was styling. I was like, he was looking good.
Pimping.
Definitely pimp, especially with the long cane now he has.
Mm-hmm.
So
and the hat,
the scarf or
mm-hmm.
the scarf. Yeah, the scarf. But anyway, all right, guys, that is it for us. Thank you for joining us on a DC-ness review of Shazam, Fury of the Gods. If you have a movie for us to review, please email us at talesoftvbros@gmail.com. Until next time, will be the next time. I'm Angel.
I'm Kimberly.
Love you.
Love you too.